Have you ever wondered why some big-name brands thrive in new countries while others flop spectacularly? It can't be just about the product, right? The year is 2016, and two American giants are stepping onto South African soil, armed with vastly different playbooks in a market they hardly know. At the time, the country has a fast food industry valued at more than $3 billion. What followed is a 3-year battle for dominance in the sweet treat market. In this episode, we dive into the South African Doughnut War. On one side, Dunkin' Donuts with its bold ambitions rooted in brand power, and on the other, Krispy Kreme with a strategic and local-first approach. One can say that South Africa's rich cultural heritage is reflected in its traditional pastries and desserts, from the creamy Dutch-influenced melktert to the syrup-soaked koeksisters and the malva pudding. These treats are deeply embedded in the fabric of South African life. However, the country's culinary landscape is not static. As South Africans continue to cherish their traditional desserts, a parallel shift is reshaping the nation's food preferences, driven by American soft power. There has been a growing fascination with American food culture in the country. This interest is fueled by the influence of American TV shows, movies, and of course, social media. Slowly but surely, these media introduce South Africans to a variety of American dishes and cooking methods. For example, the Weber grill has become incredibly popular in South Africa, to the extent that many locals mistakenly believe it to be a South African brand. The grill is highly regarded within South Africa's braai culture, often viewed as a luxury item and status symbol. This American product is so well integrated into local customs that many South Africans mispronounce its name as Weber and associate it closely with their grilling traditions. The influx of American fast food chains finally reaped the reward of decades of soft power. The rise in demand for convenient, ready-to-eat snacks like potato chips, cookies, and sweet biscuits led to a broader transformation in the country's food industry. Urbanization across South Africa is also contributing to this shift in preference. More than 68% of South Africa's population live in urban areas, a figure projected to grow further by the end of the decade. This urban lifestyle often comes with a preference for convenience and has fueled the growth of the food service industry. To satisfy this vibrant snacking culture, cafes and bakeries increased their offerings to cater to the fast-paced lives of urban dwellers. Traditional snacks like biltong, droewors, and rusks still hold their charm, but the market for modern snacks is expanding rapidly. According to Arpan Sur, Senior Director of Marketing for Africa at Mondelez International, 78% of South Africans declare that they always find room in their budget for snacks, even during tough economic times. Interestingly, the State of Snacking report also revealed that 66% of South Africans will go out of their way to find their favorite snacks, and 72% would pay extra to bring back childhood snack brands. This trend is especially pronounced among millennials and Gen Z who see snacking as an essential part of their lifestyle. Naturally, this behavior translates to immense excitement at the introduction of new donut brands and outlets in South Africa. The photogenic nature of donuts makes them an instant hits on social media, further boosting their popularity. This digital buzz translates into real-world enthusiasm, with consumers eagerly forming long queues outside stores and reinforcing the social proof. The South African bakery market is robust with strong competition from both artisanal bakeries and established chains. Specifically for donuts, there's local favorites like Grumpy and Runt, Wicked Donuts, and Hulis Donuts, which all carved out the niche with their offerings. The market also has larger bakery chains and bakery divisions from major food companies like Albany, Sasco, and Douwins Bakeries. South African consumers are historically sensitive to price change, a trait shaped by various economic factors, including inflation and income disparities. Economic policies have also played a role in shaping the market. As discussed in the Coca-Cola episode, the sugar tax introduced in 2018 to combat health issues in the country led to higher prices for consumers and a shift towards healthier alternatives as a whole. This dynamic market means that new entrants must navigate a very challenging environment to first succeed, then maintain that initial success. And as we will see, Oftentimes, brand recognition is not enough. Speaking of new entrants, become our newest subscribers if you appreciate this episode. In January 2016, Grand Parade Investments, a South African holding company, signed a master franchise agreement with Dunkin brands. The deal granted GPI the exclusive right to bring the beloved American brands Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins to South Africa. Media buzzed with optimism to the news, positioning the partnership as a transformative moment for South Africa's fast food industry. Initial rollout efforts would focus on Cape Town and Johannesburg for the first outlets, with promises of jobs and economic stimulation. The fanfare continued throughout the year and peaked in October at the first Dunkin' Donut store opening in Cape Town. Baskin-Robbins outlets also began appearing with high expectations of rapid market penetration. Leadership made bold claims about reshaping the South African fast food landscape and left little room for doubt. They were here to dominate. The grand plan was to open 290 Dunkin' Donut stores within a decade. These lofty goals seemed totally realistic. After all, the Dunkin' brand has built a franchise empire with over 19,000 stores globally. What's one more region? However, despite the promising start, the novelty of Dunkin' Donuts quickly wore off as South Africans struggled to connect with the brand. Local coffee shops and bakeries already had a loyal customer base, and Dunkin' found it challenging to differentiate itself. Pricing missteps further alienated consumers, as the premium pricing did not align with the perceived value. Simply put, South Africans' consumers are different than American consumers. Initial financial reports confirmed that customer traffic was significantly lower than anticipated, so much so that the brand even struggled to meet revised forecasts. The hype was gone, and high operating costs now began to eat at other part of the food division. Faced with this grim reality, leadership began to discuss and explore ways to turn things around. Unfortunately, the brand failed to make the necessary adjustments to its menu and pricing strategy. By 2018, it became painfully clear that both Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins were failing to gain traction. From the ambitious plan to open 290 outlets, only 11 Dunkin' Donut stores and 5 Baskin-Robbins had been opened, all confined to Cape Town. Investors' confidence in the logic and strategy began to erode, especially when comparing these two struggling brands to the other thriving food franchise in their portfolio, Burger King. By early 2019, the writing was on the wall. To recoup a fraction of its money, Grand Parade Investment tried but ultimately failed to sell the brands, leaving management with only one option. In February 2019, Grand Parade Investment filed for voluntary liquidation of Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins in South Africa. While Dunkin' struggled to find its footing in South Africa, another American donut chain was quietly gaining traction in the country, focusing on a different approach to entry, product, positioning, and marketing. When Krispy Kreme decided to step into South Africa, they didn't rush it. The brand's vice president reached out to local experts in 2014, and it took close to a year to find suitable partners. By early 2015, Krispy Kreme had agreed to give the franchises right to a joint venture formed by experienced partners. 4 News Developments as majority owner, and John & Jerry's Brands as the other partner. These companies brought more than 2 decades of experience and successes in the South African franchise market, ensuring that Krispy Kreme had a solid foundation to build on. Jerry Thomas, with his extensive experience, became CEO of this new venture, and just like that, in May 2015, Krispy Kreme was officially set to enter Africa. Later that year, the company opened its first store in Johannesburg. From there, the plan was clear. Open 31 stores in prime locations over the next 5 years, quite a contrast from the bold 200-plus stores of Dunkin' Donut. Drawing from its partner's experience, Krispy Kreme was able to adapt without compromises. From the very beginning, the brand emphasized quality. South African consumers were treated to unique flavors of donuts like Bawan, Milk Tart, and Peppermint Crisp, a nod to local tastes. Here, Krispy Kreme proved better at adapting to its local market than Dunkin. Further distinguishing the Krispy Kreme brand is its marketing approach. Rather than splurging on flashy campaigns, the company relied heavily on its tried-and-true strategy to gain traction: word of mouth. They let the quality of their donuts and customer enthusiasm do the talking. Clearly, it worked. South Africans spread the word, making Krispy Kreme a buzzworthy name in the country. Community engagement played a big role too. The brand partnered with Reach for a Dream Foundation and launched the Krispy Kreme Cares program, focusing on people and doing regular donut drops in various communities. This significantly helped the brand build genuine connections and positive association with its customers. Accessibility is a cornerstone of Krispy Kreme's strategy. Beyond standalone stores, the brand made their donuts available in over 300 retail outlets, including pick-and-pay supermarkets and Engen forecourts. This omnichannel approach ensures that Krispy Kreme is always within reach. Whether customers are shopping for groceries or fueling up their cars, a fresh Krispy Kreme donut is never far away. In the end, the donut war in South Africa is about much more than donuts. These are battles of strategy. The contrasting fortunes of Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kreme in the country reveals the importance of understanding local markets. For more stories on the successes and failures of foreign companies in Africa, check out our dedicated playlist here. See you in the next episode.